WrestleMania 41, the WWE acquisition of AAA, and AEW's strange run of critically praised shows by some of the people on this panel, but dropping ratings. Let's go! I like that. I like that.
There's the music. Copyright music that we get in trouble for all the time.
Welcome back to the No Shade Man Cave. My name's Tony Allen. I am your host. Tonight we're going to try something a little different. There's going to be no time limits because there's no timers and no rundowns. Just a real conversation between the four of us. Somebody joined late. I forgot to put him on the...
He forgot what time 5 o'clock was.
Yeah, well, yeah. 5 o'clock is 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Come on.
I have here with me Jay Tilly, Eliger, and the Outlaw. How you guys doing?
Outstanding. 4 horsemen here.
I made it back from Vegas, so I'm fine.
Good.
Not everyone can say that. Not everyone can say that. Sounds like Bully Ray fell down a well. If you hear that guy on the radio this week, it was not. Vegas was not kind.
Oh my god,
it's really bad.
All right, yeah. Well, we do have a lot to talk about. The last time we got together, it was 1 week before the actual WrestleMania show, and I think nothing happened in these past 2 weeks that we can talk about. Very quiet, WrestleMania, quiet fallout of WrestleMania. Nah, just kidding. Well, guys, let's go into WrestleMania. I guess that will be the most important thing that we can talk about right now. To start, how you guys felt during the show?
Oh, come on. It was great.
During the shows.
You didn't even watch it, did you?
No, it was awesome. Right when if you smell, when that music hit and then The Rock came down and made the whole show. Wait, none of that happened. None of that happened.
That did not happen.
Everything on that show happened exactly how everybody predicted it would.
It really did. Yeah. I mean, like the three-way was the Paul Heyman on a pole match that we talked about, and it was good. It was exactly what we discussed, 100%, without deviation for even a second.
Yep.
But we're wrestling fans. We've seen wrestling for a long time. That's kind of what we all wanted to happen to a certain extent, even though like Paul Heyman with Roman or CM Punk would have been super cool.
There was nothing else to...
But we all know there's a reason why they call us smart marks and smart fans, because we've seen this crap before and we know what's going to be good and we know what's going to make the business more lasting. That's Paul Heyman with Seth Rollins, who's, been a workhorse, but also been shat upon. Like he lost to Cody 3 pay-per-views in a row when Cody came in, for Christ's sakes. Like,
so we had to acquiesce a lot to CM Punk, and he's continuously been the foil, and now I think him being the focal point along with being a Paul Heyman guy, what does this turn into? Because eventually Paul Heyman's gonna turn on him,
maybe. I don't think so.
Roll back into a Roman Reigns situation. But awesome,
that's an interesting take though.
Awesome situation, I think. Like we all talked about, both night 1 and 2, underwhelming, and I blame this on the fact that Jay Tilly and I went to WrestleMania last year, and I thought, dude, you're in Vegas, hang out with your wang out, just freaking make WrestleMania sing, and it fell short. Instead. Make it sing. It was like. A wet fart. Like a lot of humming. But nonetheless, I totally appreciate. Thank you, Las Vegas and Allegiant Stadium and the Raiders and the whole fan base. It sounded like everything, like all the fans really appreciated what Vegas did. But when you look at what wrestling fans were looking for, it fell short, and maybe we're just too needy. But
yeah, that's the thing. Hold on. hold on. Yeah, that's something that I wanted to bring about in a previous discussion before. Are we just asking too much from this? I mean,
No.
No.
this is a 300 revolving door of this thing. So,
Well, ask yourself as a fan, did you ask for 2 nights? No. You
no.
got to WrestleMania, what was it, 35, and you said, no, this is too long.
Right.
We didn't say make it 2 nights because it's too long. Wrestling
We didn't
fans
say make it
just
longer.
said it was too long.
Right.
And I
that's
hope Tony Khan is listening to this too, because his pay-per-views also are too long. And no,
Are too long.
that does not mean I want them to be 2 nights. Because here's the thing with this, with WrestleMania 41, there is a great show there. There is an amazing show there.
But it's 2
Between what
nights.
happened on night 1, night 2, the Raw after, and this SmackDown, there is one really awesome WrestleMania in there.
Yep.
But what I got was I had to watch all of their products for a week, including NXT, to get the WrestleMania experience.
Awesome show, Stand and Deliver.
Stand and Deliver, great.
shout
Even
out
even the
to the-
Tuesday
Stand and
show
Deliver
with
was
the
great.
wacky crowd was good.
Slayed
Like,
it.
and WrestleMania, if you take the closing of night 1 and put it with everything except the last match on night 2, that is a pretty good WrestleMania. Except that match would have had to have been for a belt. You just take Cena and Cody out altogether, which, by the way, wasn't bad. It just the ending didn't work. Like
Yes. Something
on
was missing.
paper, the story was fine. The execution was so poor that it just wasn't entertaining to watch.
The strong point, the execution, it was like I'm waiting for something and I'm not even sure what it is. Like even to the
Stone Cold.
point, like you just compare it to you go to Olive Garden and he's sitting there and he's grinding the cheese. That's good. I'm good. He keeps going. Seriously, I'm good. That's what I felt like. Okay, what am I meant? Like, is there cheese? Like, is there pyro? What is?
Right.
What's not happening? That was supposed to happen, and then Mania was over, and I'm messaging Jay Tilly. I don't hear back from him until in the morning, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I fell asleep
Yeah, I
before
went
the
to
main
bed.
event." And I'm
I
like,
tapped out.
Bro.
I have the answer to that question, by the way. I can tell you what happened and what actually went wrong. I've talked to a couple of people. I made some phone calls and got some info on the DL. From what it sounds like to me, and some of this is not even that, it's not really hidden. The business has been being exposed all week long, by the way, which I'm sure we'll get into as well. But leading up to that, let's talk before the business was exposed. Let's talk about the actual business. And the actual business was this. Triple H, Booker of the Year, the most awesome writer in wrestling right now, did not write this shit. And we've talked about this a little
Evidently.
bit before. He I take that back. He did write this. He didn't book this.
Yes.
And a lot of this was very intentional. And from what I've heard, there were many different levels of input, and they were all trying to make it work. But you even heard Rock say some of these things later on. There was a little bit of a disconnect because certain things had to be done for corporate reasons. Certain things had to be done for corporate partners. Certain things had to be done because Triple H had invested in storylines. Certain things had to be done for talent, including The Rock. And the one person that people haven't discussed, which was a little bit of an issue, John Cena. John was the one that came in and said, hey guys, I know we're starting this off with this soul thing, but I kind of want to pivot it to this issue that I've always had with the fans. I think people will really get into it. And they decided that they would run with that. And then after the fact, once that was going, they decided to pull Rock out of it altogether. Rock was available.
Yeah.
Rock said himself he didn't even know Travis Scott was coming out. And Rock did not sound happy about that because he, just like all of us, is smart enough to know that you hear the Travis Scott music. He was the henchman in the story to the soul-taking Rock, final boss character. And so if that henchman is coming out, then of course everyone's going to think the Rock is not far behind or whatever. And I think the Rock is a little salty about that. But basically what happened is too many cooks in the kitchen, and people keep thinking that Triple H is Vince McMahon. He is not. He is not. He does not work in the top levels of TKO. He works below them. He answers to all those.
As like a WWE brain, I totally appreciate that, and you know, Triple H will get pressure from above, the sponsors and the, the affiliates and the things. Hey, we want to see this, that, blah, blah, blah. Oh, hey, by the way, Samoan Werewolf. All right, love you, bye. Whereas Vince McMahon wouldn't listen to anyone, and he would just, all right, we're going to do bra and panties, pillow
Right.
fight, and let's come up with the 24/7 title. Where's Mick Foley? What? So, but I think, yeah, it's a difficult position, and I appreciate what Triple H is doing as a WWE brain, and he's trying to appease everybody.
He's great at fixing
However,
things.
I appreciate 100%. He doesn't live and die by the thread of social media, which I think right now is what may or may not be affecting AEW.
I don't know about that.
AEW is so strong right now, and they're doing a lot of really, really good things, and they're like policing each other internally. And every now and then, they'll kind of get a little bit wonky on an episode or a set or a pitch of a storyline, but they'll get back online, and you're like, okay, cool, whatever. But sometimes I feel like Tony, TK, I totally appreciate. I know you're getting pulled in a million different directions with your soccer, football, your billion-dollar industries, and all the things. Oh, hey, by the way, this little side hustle you have, AEW. There's a lot that goes into it, but I think he's grown. I think the organization has grown, and we're in a good spot. And I can't wait till July when we're sitting in Arlington. Sheesh. It is gonna blow the freaking. If there was a roof on that mother trucker, gonzo.
Back
Well,
to
yeah.
I was gonna say, back to the Triple H thing. Like, I think a good example of that is Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Like, to me, Raw was better than
it was
WrestleMania, and
yes, it was.
And that was completely, from what I understand, Triple H. And I was like, this
100%.
is a good show. Like, I'm digging this. And it was even better than most of the Raws leading up to WrestleMania. So it's almost like they went, oh, shit, maybe he does know what he's talking about. We should back off a little. Because I felt like that show was great. The Braun Breaker interjection into the Seth Rollins thing.
Amazing.
Like, what?
Amazing.
Like, now I want to know who else is joining the Heyman family.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and that
on?
was apparently planned a while back, but
right, but
yes. So what you saw was Booker of the Year Triple H wrote Monday Night Raw. Booker of the Year Triple H did not write anything from January when Royal Rumble happened until I mean, and it's not to say that he didn't write anything. He had his hands on everything.
Right.
But so did The Rock. But so did Brian Gewirtz. So did Nick Khan. So did Ari Emanuel.
Yep.
Now, Ari Emanuel, if you don't know who he is the head of Endeavor. I was once represented by these people, and he is one of the most powerful people in Hollywood, and great dude. But at the same time, his goals.
Ari Gold on him.
Yeah, Ari Gold is him in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
but. I did a reality show pilot with Ari, and he had to start it at 4 a.m. because he wanted to be in his office by 5:30 in the morning when the East Coast was getting into their offices, and that's how this guy competes. Like, he's that guy. And his thing is he wants the celebrity. He really is Ari Gold. Like, he's that guy. He wants to see those faces out there. Yeah. He wants to give his Netflix partners those front row seats for their shitty talent that nobody knows yet. He wants that part of it. He's probably the person that put Travis Scott in that position.
Yep.
Like, and who's going to say, there's no one that works on any side of a camera or with a microphone that doesn't have to bow down to Ari Emanuel. You hear in The Rock's interview, The Rock said, hey, Ari called me up and said that tickets were soft for Elimination Chamber, so I went and did it. That's the guy who calls The Rock. That's The Rock's boss. Rock is not the real person who runs TKO. He can be the chairman of the board, which means that the executives are going to say, hey, Rocky, you've been in that ring. What do you think? And he's going to say, well, I think we should blah, 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 blah. And they're going to be like, great idea most of the time. But when Coca-Cola is talking to Ari Emanuel and HBO and Disney and these guys, and they have ideas, The Rock becomes nobody again.
But also,
he didn't get his way here.
So isn't there something on top of, like, it's WWE, UFC, and then it's
that's TKO, but
and then
that's controlled Endeavor.
And then there's what's the name of the other one? There's another, because they bought the PBR company, the Pro Bull Riding company now.
That's all under the Endeavor, Ari Emanuel,
Endeavor.
Pete Whitesell. That's under their whole thing.
Well,
It's Ari Emanuel. And don't forget, his brother Ram not only ran the city of Chicago, but sat next to Obama in the next office over. He basically ran half of the Western civilization. His brother ran half of Western civilization at one point in time.
I was going to mention that.
These are not unpowerful people.
No.
Yeah.
Just saying.
This is unfamiliar with relative levels of power. So I think
wrestling fans are all like, "Oh, well, The Rock did this," and The Rock, like, listen very closely to The Rock's interview on Pat McAfee. Rock is telling you that somebody screwed him over a little bit, that he wasn't completely happy with the creative thing. And if you really think it's Triple H that he's throwing under the bus, I think you're mistaken. I don't think that's who he's actually throwing under the bus there, and everyone thinks it is.
Yeah.
That's the wrestling fan and you wanting it to be Triple H versus The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there are
not.
bigger powers out there that control everything. That just
you're
but
looking for some friction from somewhere, and that's not the spot. But yeah, good. Hey, strong shout out, Outlaw.
I see this problem also that, and I see that the same thing in music festivals. So because now WrestleMania is kind of the same thing. Like recently here, we had an expansion of our most famous music festival called Pal Norte, right? So it used to be a 2-day event. It used Fridays and Saturdays. Now it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So
wait till next year when it's Coachella and it's 2 full weekends.
Bro, no, but this is
that rolls right into Stagecoach. That goes to Lollapalooza the day after.
But these things are so big now that they sold out. I mean, the VIP, not the VIP, the hospitality one was, I think, somewhere like $5,000.
Yeah.
Which I'm not even going to translate to Mexican pesos because that's like a house. But they sold out in less than like 12 minutes. And it's the same thing. But then because it's a thing that you have to do and it's no longer a thing that needs to have quality, that's why homeboy Jay Tilly went to sleep before the show was over.
This is what we have to accept now, that WrestleMania
in
the TKO era and probably SummerSlam as well now, they're going to be these bigger corporate events. There's going to be other hands on them. There's a different thing at play here. They're trying to teach the world how to watch wrestling. They're trying to do this. It's a bigger play now than entertaining us, smart marks or whatever we call ourselves. Fans, smart marks, supporters of wrestling, weekly viewers. We're not casuals. Some of this stuff is not for us. And I think that Triple H made an intentional play not to make WrestleMania that good. He didn't want to burn his stories. I think he was just like, okay, yeah, you want a bunch of baby faces to face each other? Cool, I'll make it work. I'll give you a little something. And they just wrote it week to week, and they just made some things happen. They put the girls in a triple threat. They did this and the other thing. You could feel how lackluster it was because Triple H is thinking to himself, okay, well, as soon as they're all out of this room, I'm going to get this thing back on track because that's what he's great at. And sure enough, like the day after, he's like, guys, all my real fans out there, all my people that came with me from Black and Gold, all my real wrestling fans, all you guys who think TK is a better booker again because the last 3 weeks have sucked, I got you. Don't worry about it. Dude, that Raw, great. Last night, the ladder match, the only thing I don't quite get is the Chelsea Green of it all, but we can get into that.
Yeah. And like the fact, and for Jay Tilly and we were talking, we were like, man, and we were talking like weeks in advance. Oh, I so wish we were going to be there. And we were, and I don't want to say so spoiled, but I will say we were spoiled by a fantastic WrestleMania in a fantastic city of Philadelphia.
That was great.
And
I was there for
I
all
think we're
that
going to be I think we're gonna be over the moon when we get to New Orleans and we're hanging and banging with the fans of the WWE universe. But this year, I'm not sure what the miss was, and I think just Outlaw was saying like, all right, hey fans, hey, we're just gonna make some sausage and. Everything's going to be fine.
And then the Rock's
we've got
gonna
all
tell
these
you how to make
streaming
the sausage.
platforms, and come check us out
But
on
that's-
Monday. I love you. Bye.
That's the
Yeah.
thing, right? It's even the fatigue. It's in all of entertainment.
Fatigue.
Yeah.
Good
You
word.
can have Avengers Infinity, Avengers Endgame, and then you had all this decline that they're trying to get themselves out of, and that happens. But
Yeah.
that's also you have to pick your like battles on this thing, because of course not everything is gonna be Cody finishing the story, right? That's what I said the last time we talked about. It's so difficult to
tough,
keep
yeah.
that pace.
Okay, but still, look, I get it. There's a bunch of all-star run-ins for Cody and Roman last year.
100, yeah.
You hear the gong. Come on, like there's greatness happening.
Jay
At the
Tilly
same
and I,
time,
we heard the bong, bro.
I was there. I was there too. I was in the building and Samantha's announcement at the win and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's a little more than fatigue to go backwards to a 25-minute Travis Scott walk to the ring and that super weak finish where John and then John just holding the belt up. That was what? That's what
Legit question. So, do you think that that's gonna matter for these people, for like Netflix, and it's gonna matter for Ari? Is it gonna make any dent on the difference that what we'll do next year?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. It is the Backlash.
Yeah.
Ari
Not
Emanuel
the pay-per-view.
actually sees the Backlash. I think these people are very smart and savvy. They're not really into the IWC, but a lot of the Backlash and then the Rock's comments afterwards. It's very public.
There was a HR grievance over there.
I think whoever made the Travis Scott call has already been put on notice, whether it's one of the bosses or not. I think the other bosses, because these are a lot of powerful people that we're talking about, I think the other bosses are looking at that person and saying, bro, that we got to be a little more careful with our celebrity involvement here. That didn't work.
Do you think SummerSlam's going to be better than WrestleMania this year?
I think so.
I do too. I think they're going to go, hey, go ahead, Triple H. You do you.
WWE is
run with it.
very good at course correction.
Yeah.
And I think
Yep.
that's going to happen.
SummerSlam does compete
Where'd Ellie Jarrett go?
directly with
Tony,
Oh, he's showing you your
have
belt.
you seen your title?
that's my belt, yes.
Is that alligator skin?
Fiend.
Yes, bro. I ordered that.
Bing, 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 bing. Never want to hear that song again.
It is also because it's gonna compete more directly with All In, so
True.
Yeah.
that might be. So they might be like, hey, we cannot fuck this one up because we have to just put this one over them, right? It's like this thing they did. Well, we will talk about AAA in a little bit, but AAA is gonna have a show in Monterrey, Mexico, 3 days before the show in Grand Slam in Mexico City. Now, what you have to understand is that the money, like the actual rich people of Mexico, live here in Monterrey. So they're going to be like, I don't know, I might have seen a show up to that show. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right? I'm just going to have him go and do nothing because that's what he does now. Whoa, that's weird.
I've only got 25 appearances left before he takes wrestling home with him.
I was
He
going to
can-
say
that
we
can
probably have
count
to
on
be
his
careful. We
calendar.
only have 25 more dates.
That's it.
I don't have to wrestle. I don't have to defend this thing. I just have to show up. I'm like,
Which, by the way, I love. Come on. There
I
was
love
nothing
it.
more heel than him putting up. I gave him 32 days. Oh, and by the way, if we count everything from WrestleMania, and you just see it ticking away like, you're going to take wrestling with you? No, John.
I also like the midway shit that he said on before getting RKO.
Yes.
That was
That was awesome.
that's like, okay, he's been to Hollywood. He knows how to act now. Yeah,
Yep.
like because that's an acting cue that is like really really good. Yeah,
But if we're gonna talk about acting cues and RKO's, you gotta the Joe Hendry RKO.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that was in my opinion, that might be the best filmed spot in wrestling history.
Yeah,
I was not expecting it. It was perfectly timed. The turn, the cheesy smile, and the out of nowhere. I mean, and Randy's had some good ones. There have been some excellent RKOs, and I'm not even a Randy fan, but that one, bro, I popped so hard.
Yeah.
That was just a great WrestleMania moment. Joe was smart to do it. Everything that Joe said after it, like kudos to Joe.
Missed that one.
Oh my God, you gotta watch it.
I will go back. I will go back.
Fan-friendly inclusion for TNA Wrestling and for Joe Hendry, and then Triple H saying, "Hey, this won't be your last."
All upside.
So
all upside. I think
shine for Hendry and for TNA.
TNA should just let him go now. Like, just drop the belt, let him go, let him come up to WWE. He's one of the biggest names. Like, I was in Vegas. He was the talk of the town before that happened.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Joe Hendry. He is one of the most over people in wrestling, period, right now. All 60,000 of those people in that stadium actually know who the hell he is, and he's in the number 3 promotion.
That's
right.
That's even
He's
more amazing.
way too over.
It's crazy, and the Rumble did it. So Joe Hendry, he gets my big kudos of the week. By the way,
I have this gauge of like things, right?
Yeah.
I have 2 friends that are brand new to wrestling. They basically, I mean, they heard of wrestling because, of course, who hasn't, right? But they've been watching wrestling a lot. But they've been coming to my house and stuff like that for pay-per-views. And the other day is like, I think it was like Tuesday or something. It's like, who the fuck is this Joe Hendry guy? He keeps popping out on my TikTok because I'm like way younger than I am, right? So like, I'm like, oh, then I had to like kind of explain.
I'll put it to you this way: my 78-year-old mother knows who Joe Hendry is, and she knows maybe 5 wrestlers.
Wow.
She knows who Tony Atlas is. She knows who Hulk Hogan is, and she knows who Joe friggin' Hendry is.
Oh wow,
that's awesome.
And she believes in him.
Just don't say his name.
Don't say his name.
He'll show up.
Yeah, I don't need Joe Hendry in my house.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Okay, so what are the takeaways from this? Okay, so maybe this is too far, but did it matter? Because now we have all these corrections, and we're gonna go into a different direction. So the storyline that we got, besides I don't know, Cena not working for the rest of the year, and Seth Rollins, keeping Paul Heyman. Is anything else that happened that important?
Can I just say
for
this?
Maybe Phoenix losing.
Well, we should talk about that too. But
Yeah.
my biggest takeaway from this, and my biggest fear, and I kind of put this question to you guys for the rest of the year is: do we trust WWE now with our money going into the big events? Do we trust them going into SummerSlam, Mania, and Royal Rumble with our money and our faith in wrestling? I feel like I trust them all the rest of the year. I just don't know after this if I trust them with the big events now.
Well, money-wise, it's included in your Netflix subscription.
I'm not going to lie, though.
Not Mania.
I wouldn't have paid for Mania. Like, if
That's a lot of money.
If it was an old school pay-per-view, just the build and everything, I wouldn't have paid for it. I'd have been like, I'll catch it on the replays, or, hey, I bet they'll do the rematches the night after. Hey, they did. I was just like, I wouldn't have paid for it. It happened to be on Peacock, and I ended up playing more Call of Duty than watching the show. I mean, I'd have been pissed if I paid for it.
What was the comment that Outlaw made prior to that one? What were you? Because I think there's something to that, and it had to do with, the investment and where fans are and the trust level, and
that's what I'm trying to figure out. Do I trust these? I trust Triple H to take care of me as a fan. I don't know if I trust the entire situation and TKO and going into these big events now. That's what I'm saying.
Your point is
huge.
that they will
That's
meddle, they will build something, and then we're gonna have to pause from like the Royal Rumble until WrestleMania, so that we get a continuation of what happened. Yeah, that's a possibility. Right. That's gonna happen from now on. And that was what I was saying. If they're going to learn from this,
it's the opposite of WWE in the past. It's like Bizarro WWE. Before it was like you could count on Vince McMahon to actually get his shit together from Royal Rumble to Mania, and that was like the only time you could count on Vince McMahon. Like during football season, he's trying out some new big guy. It's the Ryback season or whatever the hell's going on. Right, you know. But
yeah.
I don't know, man. It just feels like Bizarro.
That's my fear, that I don't think they will learn from this, and then we will get a repeat next year, and it will become the, and I get this part you guys are talking about educating the public because it was on Netflix globally, but I mean, it's been prevalent. Wrestling has been around globally.
Yep.
Especially, like, I think people will watch more on the 90s because American television will go out anywhere in the early 2000s, late 90s. It's not like yes, you have Netflix on your house now, but still, American culture has been like exported more than anything else. So I don't see the upside of whatever the fuck that thing with Travis Scott was.
I think it
at the end of the show.
I think it just becomes corporate mania instead of WrestleMania. Like they're just going to continue. It's going to be more of, hey, Netflix has got all these cool new shows coming on. Let's put our people out there and show them. And it's going to be prime models in the ring corners, and it's going to be Fruit Loops and Dude Wipes and all the other crazy spot. And that's just what it's going to be going forward.
And by the way, that is Vince McMahon's fault.
Right. But
because he is the one that asked Nick Khan to come into the company and turn it into that so he could sell it. He asked for that. And that's what it is now. So none of us can be mad. That's what he asked for.
Well, I mean, we can be mad. We just can't do anything about it.
Right. But he fought certain aspects of it. So, like, the ring was never supposed to have anything on it. There was never supposed to be the WWE.
Yeah, UFC been doing that for a long time. I mean, have you ever seen the AAA? Have you ever seen the AAA ring? That is worse than NASCAR, brother. Like it has been going on since like '86. So it's like it doesn't matter. For me, I'm used to visually. I don't even see it as a promotion. Like I don't see it as an ad anymore because it's been ingrained in my brain since I was fucking 6. So,
Tony, I know you're the host, but can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
As a Mexican, how do you feel about
Taco Bell?
About the big masked luchador that won a big match over Rey Fenix at WrestleMania.
Right after they announced AAA.
Such a great. Yeah.
So,
was he at the press conference? I just want to know.
El Grande was not. He refused to show up.
I don't know if his English is so good, so I don't know if he can.
He felt it was an insult to his culture to be standing behind the white man.
I cried when Phoenix was walking down and he was talking to mom and dad and their kids and just because that's a very pure moment because that's for us, like that's for if you speak Spanish what he's talking to his dad and his mom, but he's actually talking to like everyone else. You can make it here, but then I knew and I knew this. As soon as they took down Ray, I was like, crap. Yeah, it was horrible. It was. I saw it coming. I saw it coming, but like, what does it build now? Because then I talk to people, and you talk to I talk to people, so whatever. You guys know what I mean. And they're like, "Well, they're gonna set up Worlds Collide." I'm like, "No, man, doesn't matter." Doesn't matter. That's it. You put a halt to this guy's push before it started.
Yep.
Right. And I'm happy and I'm happy that the representation is for. And then you had Phoenix not winning, which I was okay with, but now it's like 2-0, right? So I was like, oh, maybe I'm not that okay with this shit.
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, it's either or, and this storyline, just like the John Moxley storyline, it's not pleasing. And it's not there is so far now is the story is so far ahead that you cannot recover. You cannot give me a gratifying ending now. That's the problem.
I'll tell you,
it doesn't matter what you do.
I'll tell you what sucks about it for me. It makes me hate Michael Cole because he's supporting it with the storyline. It makes me hate other aspects of WWE that I don't dislike.
No, this is the thing. The payoff of this thing is that we're going to find out that Chad Gable is El Grande. That's the payoff of this thing.
No, it's not. It's Elias's brother.
Yeah.
Oh God.
What are you talking about? It's LA Knight.
It's, Elias's brother is clearly the El Grande America.
This is gonna be the payoff, right?
The payoff is gonna be the pop he gets when he comes to Mexico, or anti-pop. Or different kind of pop.
After he
pop.
In the airport, he's gonna get that pop.
Yeah, I really hope they don't bring that. So,
no, I really hope they don't.
I mean, look, Penta losing, I expected, and
yes,
you know,
I'm okay with that in the budget, right?
Yeah, and I'm cool with Dom walking away with that. I like that whole thing. I mean, he's not the Mexican I was cheering for, but. Cool, whatever.
But he was the Mexican born in the States. Anyways, continue.
No, so I just like I saw some AEW fans that and they're not even like the dickhead fans that are out there. I just saw some AEW fans that were just like, wow, so we lost Penta and Phoenix from all these cool matches in AEW for this?
Yeah.
And there's some people that are really kind of let down and deflated by that whole thing. But what redeems it for me is the amazing promo that Karrion Kross cut after WrestleMania.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Cheap segue. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a great promo.
His intro into the blood sport or blood match or, you know, that whole evolution. Freaking amazing.
The whole thing is amazing.
Yeah, great promo. I don't know where that's going to turn. Hopefully it leads to a strong program, and
I think it will. And the last time that Karrion got a really good push was the last time he sold out of his t-shirts when he was in NXT. When he released his shirt right after he got the cool ring entrance, they were like, "Oh my God, this dude in NXT is selling as many t-shirts as guys on the main roster. Let's put a belt on him." He sold out of 2 of his t-shirts this week during WrestleMania week and wasn't on WrestleMania. Yep. He did better than people that were on the WrestleMania card with merchandise this week.
Ridiculous.
I think that he's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Now, finally, I think Karrion Kross is going to be a Killer Kross, Kevin Robert Kaser, or whatever he's going by these things. I love that he put out all 3 of his real names like a serial killer. Kross is a little cracked, you guys. It's scary. Yeah. Like, why are you using your middle name? Nobody does that, dude. Only serial killers have middle names.
Only serial killers.
Oh, serial killers have middle names. Yes.
Put the copy of Catcher in the Rye down. Step away from the book. Step away from the book, Kross.
Calm down, Lenny.
Yeah. I actually have 3 names, and I only use 1 of them. So yeah. Okay. All right, guys. I think the sentiments on WrestleMania have been kind of explained. Now, because we're already 40 minutes in, let's talk about the other super news that I think are going to affect the landscape of wrestling and actually Lucha Libre more than anything. Mm-hmm. AAA bought. WWE bought AAA.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They are not. This is not the same thing they did with TNA. That's a collaboration. They just outright bought it. Apparently, there is like a minimal thing they kept just to so they can keep making money. But this is now property of WWE. There's already speculations here in Mexico that they will change the name. The name is really a very bad acronym. I don't know if you guys know what it means. So it's fine. I mean, the logo was pretty cool, I guess, for in the 90s. There were people calling it NXT Mexico. There is already all the stories. There is now, and this is something that I want to mention. There is this thing that's floating around that it costs 50 million to buy AAA. Now, I know you're gonna say yes, but hear me out. Televisa, biggest company in Mexico of news, right? It's valued at $700 million. It used to be valued over 1 billion, but then they lost a couple of contracts on like soccer and stuff like that. So they didn't get like the World Cup by themselves, like exclusivity rights. So they've been so. That is ridiculous. Like, I know things are cheap in Mexico, but a wrestling company is not that cheap.
Well, it also depends on the deal for future payouts and if they're cut into the new deal or not. And because these are all privately held companies, we may or may not ever find that stuff out. So basically, I'll give you the news that I heard after making a couple of calls, that the Dorian is sticking around. Maricela may or may not be. That there was a healthy payout that they were happy with, and that there is still some investment or equity in the company for them in some fashion, which we don't know. So this is basically what I heard there. On the creative side, Conan is staying and may in fact keep his title, but the representative of the WWE that will be in Mexico is Jeremy Borash, which is a great choice. Mm-hmm. If you're going to pick a white middle-aged guy to run the historic Mexican tradition, he's not a terrible one to do. He's done some stuff with AAA and Conan before. They're good friends. And Borash is a mensch. He's been running LFG. That's been one of his babies. He also is the guy who created the Matt Hardy Delete segments. He's also the guy who created WCW Live, which was the first internet wrestling program that all of us can be thankful for. Oh, wow. There would be what we're doing right now if it weren't for Jeremy Borash doing it first. So I don't know if that means it's in good hands, but there certainly were much worse choices, like, oh, you didn't know Road Dogg? Like, it could have been worse, guys.
Oh, my God, you just don't want that guy with a job. Anyway.
I just love messing with Road Dogg.
Yeah, okay. In good hands, I'm going to be, like, super... I know you guys love it, but for us here...
I think it's awful.
For us here in Mexico, it was a nothing. We got the same thing every year. You had these amazing athletes and stuff, but the packaging was all wrong, and people were yearning for this kind of revamp. I don't know if a complete buyout was what we were hoping for, because you have to keep your companies, because independence and the monopolization and all this stuff. Then I know that everything gets consolidated and all that shit. Look at what's happening with the movie studios. I mean, we can all attest to the fact that that's not good for the movie business. But yeah, this was needed. This unfortunately, this was exactly what it was. Like, I will go to the shows and I would like to have some good merch for the wrestlers that I like. And I feel like we are still stuck in 1986 when I was a kid, and I will go and get this mask made out of like very bad nylon. But now, hopefully, this means that, and also I'm hoping that this means that these wrestlers don't have to be like wrestling until they're like 95 because they did not get paid.
What you want is
they're getting a cut from the merch.
Yeah, a little bit of a better contract.
What you want is Def Jam Records, owned by Universal, but Def Jam still had the street cred. They still did things the right way. The artists got more equity. The hip hop community wasn't mad. It didn't take away black folks' identity. And Universal did a very, very good job of keeping Def Jam true to what it was and still being a little more corporate, but everybody who was involved, it paid off for. That's what you're hoping for.
When have we ever seen WWE do that, though? When has WWE ever done that? Like,
but this isn't WWE. This is TKO. TKO bought AAA. Vince didn't buy it.
I feel like this is the first major accomplishment
and also
purchase
Yeah,
of
go
the
ahead.
TKO era, I think.
It's the third
And-
to be fair though, because it was
Well,
UFC. Well, no,
yeah.
fourth UFC, then WWE, then PBR, and now
Yeah.
AAA.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying like
As far as wrestling.
But as
Yeah,
far as
yeah.
wrestling, as acquiring
like
it in. But I mean, look at UFC when they bought Strikeforce and Pride, and they kind of absorbed these other companies. It did actually make the UFC better. I'm hoping for that. Like, it brought in different talent and different styles. It brought when the UFC took over Pride, it brought in some of the Japanese stuff. And it killed Pride a little bit, but the library lived on, and then the legacy of the heritage of those belts and those champions all came over and got big matches. And WEC, it was the same thing too. That became all the lighter weight divisions in UFC. Like, UFC did this. They absorbed all these other things, and it worked really well without them. Like, they just lost a monopoly case to a certain extent, and a lot of people got paid, but also there still was Bellator. There still was other stuff out there. They just weren't as good.
But the difference is UFC's real. Like, your fighters are coming in real fighters. My worry is WE is just going to absorb it, like you said, and it's going to become LFG Mexico or an NXT Mexico. It's just going to become another thing, or it's just going to go away. Like, they're going to be like, oh, we don't have time to run a Triple Mania this year.
No, it's not.
Because
there is
I don't think
actually
it'll go away. But that's a
company.
strong point. And Jay Tilly, not to say that it won't, because where is NXT UK? Where's NXT Europe? Where's all
Well,
the
yeah,
talk
but
that we were supposed to
what
do?
happened is
Strong
between
point.
these companies, there's another
one. Because I don't think it'll happen
the Alpha?
because of the forward thinking of some of the luchadors and the thought and affection toward the Mysterios and the like. I don't think AAA will go anywhere, and I'm crossing both sets of fingers here.
think
I'm
certain-
trusting that it's going to work out.
Certain
but,
parts of the agreement have to stay if any company wants to tour in Mexico. There are some things that are not going to be allowed to change because of Antonio Peña's original agreements that he had with certain individuals across the country. I think those things will stay in place because it's mandatory.
Right.
That's part of the business purchase. You're purchasing what Peña put in, and you want that because that's what is going to allow you to do certain things. And I think that offers a certain amount of shielding and protection for the brand.
That's a good point.
So
It's really the only layer of protection, though. But I want to believe that the assimilation is going to kill a little bit of the product, but also enhance some of what we got. And that's what happened in the UFC. You absorbed Pride. You killed some of the Japanese fighting spirit of Pride because, no, you can't kick people on the ground in UFC. No, you can't let all of your guys use steroids like Pride did. Like, Pride was a weird thing. Like, it was kind of attempted murder on a regular basis. Like, no, we're not going to do that part. But yeah, we'll bring your guys over here. We'll give Shogun a good fight. We'll let them work their way in, and we'll bring some of these ideas from Japan into the UFC now. We'll change the rules a little bit. But
I'll tell you one of the biggest things that I think this needs to be a huge wake-up call for is AEW.
Yes.
Because holy crap, WWE, TKO, Endeavor, whatever, are locking down. They're just locking stuff down. So now it's like, it was just AEW's thing to be teaming up with the luchadors and doing this, and now suddenly WWE's there. And if AEW doesn't wake up, this could turn out not so good.
But they both went with the companies that they fit. Like, CMLL is random ass wrestling. And AAA has always been more story and character based.
True.
I mean, there's a pack of clowns down there telling stories all the time in AAA, and literally, there's a pack of clowns in AAA. And I think the real question for me is Alberto? Question mark? I mean, he can't even. There's no place for him to go if they kick him out because he can't go to the Crash because Tijuana is the one place he's banned for 6 months.
There's
another one.
There is an amazing thing that can happen next week here in Monterey because they're coming here. He has a match with Burger Boy.
Nino Hamburguesa.
Niño Hamburguesa, yes. So if you guys don't know who he is, do you guys know who he is?
No.
Yes.
Okay, Google him. It can happen.
Hamburguesa.
It will be an insane thing to happen, but he can drop the title to him.
I just love that idea.
Yeah,
It would be the
That
best.
just made me hungry. I don't know.
Oh
And
my
then
God, it
Austin
would be-
Theory will come down to Mexico the week after and take the title off of Nino
Oh
Hamburguesa.
my god.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
No, it'll be Grande El Americano.
No, it
That is,
won't.
oh my God, no, he won't, because he won't make it past the airport. Anyway, but that's what I'm looking for, right? Like, if we're gonna do these things, this is what I'm looking for. I want to see. Okay, of course, I don't want to see, like, I don't think John Cena is gonna show up because he only has 10 days left. But I would like to see a Triple Mania, right? Because now they own Triple Mania.
Yeah.
Now
That's huge.
Okay, so now they own
Amazing.
Triple Mania. When this company came around, because I was like 10 when AAA became. But it's not like CMLL. CMLL has been here forever.
10
like
million years, yes.
Yeah, exactly. They were
Started
Aztec
with the Aztec,
warriors before. Yeah. So,
Actual Aztec warriors in the ring.
So
That's what the pyramids really were. The Aztec
So this
pyramids
is
were
why
just rings.
why this makes sense. AAA was created when disgruntled people from CMLL wanted to make their own style and wanted to get paid in different ways. So of course they were gonna go with WWE. That makes, and there is this other company that brokered the deal. So it's called Philip or Philippe. Those are the guys that make the deal that, you know, there are certain things we cannot touch. We kind of hinted here.
They're the Mexican Nick Khan.
Yeah, exactly. That's the people there they are. So there is gonna be some. I hope that this is for the best. But the best also is, yes, I want to see Randy Orton RKO. I don't know. La Parca, the new La Parca.
La Parca Trace.
La Parca 17, whatever. Because now they have branches. Like it's like they have branches on La Parca. So that's what I'm looking for.
He's the
That's
son
what I
of
wanna see.
Havoc.
Is a son, yes.
He's the brother of the son of Havoc.
Yeah, it was my neighbor's son that came to the.
I did also hear, by the way, that Alberto is officially not fired, but is a question mark, and that it will probably actually be a Borash call.
Interesting.
Oh,
Yeah, I read that yesterday where they're evaluating.
It's up to
the
Borash.
level of impact as far as keeping and not keeping. So yeah, that'd be interesting, especially if it's now a TKO product. It's a publicly traded company. They need to consider the level of investment, and they need to protect themselves from themselves at a certain aspect. So yeah, I mean, we may lose Del Rio or El Patron. I mean,
Well, and I've heard that this is one of the reasons why a lot of the Stephanie Vaquer stuff went away. Everyone was taken care of, and they didn't want to deal with it going into this deal. And now Alberto is kind of a question mark, and they've known that they were going to have to answer this. I think Conan is pushing to keep him because he's invested a lot story-wise in him in the last couple of years and feels like he's turned a corner. But then the thing in Tijuana is a detriment to that. And, you know, the people...
Oh, what bad timing, eh?
The people on this side of the border don't understand those things. They don't understand those commissions and whatnot down there. So Borash is a very capable person, very smart wrestling brain, very creative guy. Him working with Conan will probably lead to some great stories as long as Vampiro doesn't retire again. We'll be fine. And we'll
to balance.
Yeah, like and if they can interject some of their other talent to get reps down there and whatnot. I mean, people have been doing that for a million years anyway. Japanese wrestlers especially come over to Mexico and learn stuff at either CMLL or AAA or some of the other even smaller promotions. It happens all the time. Like, send us your young boys. Let's see what we can make of them. Let's see what we can do with some of these other talent down there. The women's division in AAA could really use an infusion of women under 200 pounds.
Jesus.
Putting it as nicely as I can.
Politically correct.
I don't know, but like
no.
like realistically speaking, it's a Haas division.
Yeah.
It is, and that's just kind of what they've gone with. That's what was available to them, and a lot of the other women went to CMLL because it's a style that fits better. And those girls at AAA have been doing a great job with each other, and they got some good stories going. But the division is small and could use something, and a couple of other.
It's a revamp for sure.
Yeah, and they lost a lot of talent to Tony Khan and AEW and whatnot. I mean, Tony's been kind of cherry picking in New Japan and AAA because he had way more money to offer than those places, and those talents, it's hard for them to keep them.
That's the other thing. What is going to be the response here? Because evidently CMLL is not going to sell itself to AEW, and it's not because there is not enough money. It's because AEW has been around for 5 years, and CMLL has been around, like we said, since the Aztec times.
And let's be honest, Tony Khan is not organized enough to go into Mexico, and it took years for this deal to go through with AAA and WWE. This was not something that just came up, guys. This has been going on for a long time, and it took a long time to work out the kinks and to get the price tag right and to get what WWE was acquiring right. Like, they didn't know what they were buying at first. That's why it took so damn long to do this.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to be the answer on this then? We are having, it's removed from that possibility. So it's just going to continue are they going to continue to run shows the way they are? Is he's going to keep on separating them light years? Because that's what I feel that this is what's happening. There are light years separation.
I think at the end of the day, this is very good for wrestlers. This is as good for talent as Tony opening up shop. I think this brings more money into Mexico. I think this is a great thing for your country, Tony. I think this is a good thing I think it is. I think it's going to bring money. I think it's going to bring money out into this industry because even if it's only lasts for a few years, people are going to want to see what these changes are. People are going to want to see some of the American talent, how they work with the luchadors, what becomes of AAA. And I think the American fans, what they're going to get is now the history of Lucha Libre is in WWE, just like the big gold belt, just like Ric Flair's title wins. The lineage is now a part of WWE. So you're going to learn about Lucha Libre from the AAA standpoint, not from the entire history of it, because what's going to happen is a lot of the culture and history of CMLL is going to be erased. And some of the other promotions.
Well, that's the other thing that's scary, though, is what's it going to do to CMLL? Because I don't know CMLL's financials, but they're not going to be able to keep up with.
But they don't tour the same way. They're a tourist attraction in a city, in a venue.
No, they own.
WWE
This is
can
the
go,
thing.
hey, we like that wrestler. We're going to pay him quadruple what you pay.
That's for sure. But these people own their own arenas.
Yes.
Like wherever they go to, they don't have to go to make an arrangement with especially here in Mexico, you have to make an arrangement with the local people that will rent you the spaces. Or if it's like an arena like here in Monterrey, you have to deal with the news, the network, the TV network that owns the arena. So they don't have to do that. So they're secured their gate. However, they will have to improve their product visually, which I think if you look at it, I'm like something that we talked about. I probably will delete this if it's too much. But where are they going to put the trucks for production during the Grand Slam in Mexico City? Where?
They're going to have to use the existing stuff. I've had this conversation before. I don't know how they're going to do it. There's no place for the trucks.
There's no place for the trucks, and the existing, it's Televisa's, bro. They built Arena Mexico next to Televisa, and Televisa is no longer a partner with them. So where is this going to emanate from? We have no idea, man.
I don't even know if you can drive those trucks all the way down there. I don't even know. Just that alone is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, there's companies here, but it's there's really big companies here that do production. You can ask Studios Churubusco to provide all that stuff. That's not a problem. But the problem is logistically, how are you going to connect the cable that goes into the satellite thing to send the
I mean,
signal
I think
to
we know the
TNT
answer to
Warner
this,
Brothers?
Tony. I think you're blowing it out of proportion. We're just going to call Kyle Fletcher, and he's going to get his stuff from his buddies.
Done.
It's done.
Well, I have
It's
I have
fine.
a couple of friends. I have a couple of
Fine.
friends
The
that know how
ring
to
is whatever,
install
It's fine.
internet cable
Yeah.
cheap. They will just
They'll
they
just run a
will get their
cable.
own. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. That's the thing. They will have to improve their product. They will have to improve their visuals and all that stuff. And
Maybe
probably gonna
that's
have to
the
rely
answer.
on Tony for that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say maybe that's the answer. Is Tony's gonna pump, maybe not money, but resources and help to boost up
yeah.
CMLL. I mean, that might be what they'll have to do.
And if I can get AAA in English and not have to wait 6 weeks or
Hell yeah.
try to watch it on a Lucha Blog, like buried YouTube channel that I have a personal invite to, that it's all in Spanish. Because,
Damn, I know some bros that might want that.
yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna get gentrified as fuck, but yeah, sure, it's gonna be
What's up with Ginger?
it's gonna be great.
Ginger
All
fry.
right, yeah, gentrify my lucha libre. Gracias.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's an exciting time for wrestling.
It'll be fun.
yeah.
It'll be fun to watch.
I think it'll be fun to watch, and I think that Tony Khan will try to retaliate a little bit. Maybe not, but I think it raises the value of luchadors in general and Mexican wrestlers. I think their stock and their value is
Get
up.
the luchadores paid.
Yeah, so
I
because
don't think
now
Tony should respond. He just needs to keep doing what he's doing. Don't worry about it. Don't let it get to you. Just keep doing what you're doing. I know.
No.
I know.
No. He needs to do something.
He needs to
all fight on the Western Front too much over
pay
here,
the
bro.
Mexican wrestlers a lot more money to come and be part of the company. But you know what I mean? Like I'm saying, he doesn't need to
But then put him on the show.
Right. But he doesn't need to go panic mode and go, oh my God, I need to go buy New Japan or anything
Right.
stupid like that.
no, and I don't think he can. I don't
No,
think those options are there for him. Maybe he
No,
could buy
that's not enough.
again. The Crash is the only other option for him
NWA.
too. But oh God, please. I hope he
No,
buys
because
NWA.
because if you
Well,
see it,
Corgan
if
said he
you
wants to
see
go
it,
away.
something that we analyze is the wrestling is moving south of the border. Like that's because they realize that's where you get your education if you want to later on become this thing that people are watching. Because yes, I mean, Arena Mexico gets full. Like it's full, and almost everyone there. It's not like unless it's like on Tuesday. It's not the Mexican crowd. It's Japanese, it's Korean, it's American. We've seen it. We go over there, and you realize that most of the crowd is not the Mexican crowd anymore. Because otherwise, you go to Arena Coliseo, which is the other one they have in Mexico City, and that's where we actually see that the guys are going to start up. So there is a kind of a farm system. They have matches in CMLL. There are the Guadalajara school versus the Puebla school, and then they have this crazy ass match, and then out of one of those guys, they pick the next Dralistico and Rouge and all that stuff. So yes, there is a way to answer. I'm just hoping that it happens, and that all these kids that are out there, getting paid a sandwich and a Coca-Cola, they can actually, have money in their pockets. That's what I'm looking for.
Look, it will change. It is a good thing. What WWE right now is doing is they have branched. They have tentacled. They have an NIL program. They have the Evolve stuff. They have the LFG program. They have the NXT program. Now they have AAA. They are branching out. They are not just looking to bring in one kind of thing to their product anymore. They're bringing in athletes. They're bringing in indie people. They're bringing in wrestlers. They got the ID program too. Like, they are just trying to find ways to absorb all of it, but also to give it space. They're creating more shows. They have Evolve. They have LFG. They're doing indie shows at WrestleCon week now just for ID talent. Mm-hmm. Like, WWE did an indie show.
Right.
That's a big deal.
Yep.
It's as big as the AAA thing. Like, this is I think it's all good for the business, and it's unknown where it's going. This is untested. This is uncharted. This is a new thing, but they are
And
trying.
also, I think this is gonna create. This is so big that it might create I guess a third company somewhere. And I'm not saying the thing everybody say about Vince. It might be Vince back. I don't know, but if a company sees this much money being made and invested, they're gonna be like, "Man, maybe I want the slice of this too," and then they create another company, and then we have a third party that wants to fight these other guys. And I don't know what is Jeff Bezos doing right now, making like trucks now, right? So. Yeah. We don't know. We can have that happen as well. So that's a
Bezos owns the Lucha Underground library. He's fine.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that now. We said that. Let's keep going.
No, we're already at an hour and 5 minutes. We don't need to talk about that now.
Or last, do you guys want to talk about this? We have it on the.
Should wrap, dude. It's an hour.
We have it on the docket. Okay, well, we'll do it for the next one, I guess, guys, because this took everything from us. So we only talked. Well, it does involve AEW a little bit, so. We're gonna get some likes and some dislikes still.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was our show. I think we covered a lot. It was a lot to talk about too, because it's the fallout of WrestleMania 40.
Always 41. A lot to talk about.
So
and the Mania week has just expanded to just a monster now.
Yeah. It's like
it's like 10 days now.
It's like 10 days now. Yeah.
I'm still trying to wash the Vegas off of me, man. It's a lot.
I thought I saw some glitter on your face.
That's a little bit, and some coconut oil over here too.
Well, everybody, please provide your. Please provide your. I was gonna say, you have a lot of what's it called? Oh, I forgot. Never mind. I'll cut this out. I forgot the name of it. I'm tired already. Oh, the glitter! You're trying to dust off the glitter out of Vegas. That's what's going on. And the baby powder.
I was hanging out with gold dust.
The baby powder.
Oh, all right.
His Tourette's.
All right, guys. Everybody, please provide your socials so that we can wrap this up. Go ahead, Odlo.
I'll go first. At Justin Harvey 75. My wrap up for the week is Joe Hendry's great, and all the people that wrestled multiple times. Masha Slamovich wrestled like 50,000 times. Steph Vecchio did her 3 or 4 things. The tag team champs Liv and Raquel did like to everybody who wrestled multiple times, did like triple shots and all that stuff. Big kudos. We appreciate you. We love you. We're glad you came out of the other side safe and healthy and happy. And the WrestleMania experience overall, the show itself may have been but man, to see all those fans come together is amazing, and I love it. And I was at the Squared Circle yesterday too, and saw all the East Coast and Midwest fans coming together. That's the whole reason for all of this, brother, and that's the good stuff. That's it.
That's right.
100% agree. And I think that's why we were a little biased to WrestleMania last year, is because we were there as part of that experience, and it is completely different when you're there live. So. I agree. Shout out to everybody who did the indie shows and did everything else they were doing. Let us know what you guys think the best part of WrestleMania week or WrestleMania was down in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Check us out weekly. We do recaps for Raw and Dynamite. Soon to start Collision and SmackDown. We're just trying to work it into the schedule. And look forward to hearing you guys' opinions. Check us out on your social media, X and Instagram, NSMC_podcast. Facebook, No Shave Man Cave. If you want to get some merch, noshavemancave.com. And I'll hot tag it out to my tag partner. Take us home, brother.
Yeah, buddy. Outlaw, thanks for joining us, brother. El Edidor, of course, thanks for doing all that you do behind the scenes. Jay Tilley, hooking and jabbing on the huge. Come check us out. No Shave Man Cave _titles. And, on the gram, we got your titles. You dream it. We can chop it. I'm super jacked. We're getting ready to set up for River City WrestleCon. It's only a few weeks away, the first week in June.
Yep.
Come check us out in St. Aug, and can't wait to see who we're going to have. We have a few already queued up, some really cool titles that we're going to be presenting and have available. So, as always, thanks for checking us out, to our first responders and our dedicated service members. Can't say enough for what you do for this great country. stay safe, get your ass back home, because that's exactly where you're needed. And until next time, keep doing what you do. Like, share, subscribe here at the No Shave Man Cave. And we'll see you very soon right here in the cave. Until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the floor.